All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're exploring Going Places, a story that gets right to the core of what it means to dream. It's all about that huge, sometimes messy gap between the life we've got and the one we picture in our heads. We're going to follow a young girl named Sophie as she tries to live in that space.
Seriously, have you ever felt that? That little pull, that feeling that you're meant for something bigger, something more glamorous? That feeling is the engine of our story today. It's what drives our main character, Sophie, and it's what makes her story so relatable.
So let's meet our main character, Sophie. She's just a teenager, about to finish school, but in her head, she's already living this incredible, exciting future she's cooked up for herself, a future that looks absolutely nothing like her present.
And look, Sophie doesn't just have one little dream. No way. Her plans are huge. She wants to own her own boutique, or maybe become a famous actress, or, even a fashion designer. The real point here, though, is that she wants a life that's, well, sophisticated. Anything but her actual working-class reality. She's craving a life she gets to choose, not one that's just handed to her.
I mean, just listen to this. I'll have the most amazing shop this city's ever seen. That says it all, right? There's no maybe in her vocabulary. It's just when. It's this total belief that makes her fantasies feel so real, at least to her. But you know how it is. Every big dream has to face a reality check, and Sophie's is a big one. Let's take a look at the world she's actually living in, the one that's a million miles away from her imagination. This is the pressure cooker that makes her fantasies feel less like a choice and more like a necessity.
Wow. Talk about a brutal contrast. On one side, you've got Sophie imagining she's the next Mary Quant, a total fashion icon. And on the other, the cold hard truth. She and her friend Jancy are earmarked for the biscuit factory. I mean, that phrase alone is just crushing. You can totally see why she'd want to escape into her head, right?
And if you want to know why she's so desperate to escape, just take a look at her home. It's not a happy place. It's described as a small, steamy room, cluttered with laundry. Her dad's home from a long day's work, still grimy. And her mom? Her mom has a crooked back, which just says everything about a life of hard work. This is her reality, day in and day out.
And her dad's reaction to her big dreams? It's not exactly supportive. He basically says, yeah, if you ever get money, just buy us a decent house. It's so practical and kind of sarcastic, right? For him, money isn't for fancy boutiques, it's for survival. It just shows you how different their worlds are, even under the same roof.
So does all this reality stop her? Not a chance. In fact, she doubles down. She comes up with her biggest, most detailed fantasy yet. And this time, it's not just about a job, it's about a person. A real-life hero who has everything she wants. Fame, success, a way out. And here it is. 4 simple words she tells her older brother, Jeff. I met Danny Casey. Boom. Just like that, she's not just dreaming anymore. She's creating a story, a secret that she shares with the one person she thinks or hopes might actually believe her. Now you gotta understand, Danny Casey isn't just some random football player. The story calls him a prodigy. He's this young, super talented Irish kid. So he's more than an athlete. He's a symbol of what's possible. The perfect guy for Sophie to pin all her dreams on. Of course, her dad hears about this and immediately shoots it down. He's heard it all before. He calls it another one of her wild stories, which tells us something really important, doesn't it? This isn't a one-time thing for Sophie. Making up stories is kind of her thing. It's how she copes. But look at how she tells the story. She's an artist. She doesn't just say, I met him. No, she adds these little details that make it feel so real. He has gentle green eyes. He's not as tall as you'd think. He even seemed lonely. She's not just lying. She's building a world, brick by brick, mostly for herself. Okay, so this is where it all comes to a head. Sophie's built this incredible story, and now she has to live it. This brings us to the climax, this quiet, lonely moment where her fantasy world is about to collide with the real one. Hard. So she goes to meet him, and the place she picks, it's perfect. A quiet spot by the canal, a bench under a single tree. It's a place from her childhood, a secret spot, the perfect stage for her fantasy to play out. And she sits down to wait. In that moment, the dream feels completely real. It's not just in her head anymore. She's physically there, waiting for him. The possibility is electric. But the minutes tick by, and that's when you see the first crack in the fantasy. She starts to feel those pangs of doubt. It's that awful, sinking feeling we've all had when you realize something you hoped for probably isn't going to happen.
And then comes the moment of truth, knowing he will not come. It's not a surprise, not really. It's just a quiet, sad acceptance. The fantasy dissolves, and all that's left is the heavy weight of her actual life, her actual future, a future without Danny Casey.
But here's the interesting part. Is the fantasy really over? Or does it just change? In this last part, let's explore why these daydreams aren't just silly stories, but can actually be a way to survive.
This image of the white flamingo, it's just perfect for Sophie, isn't it? Her dreams make her totally unique, special, standing out in a crowd. But at the same time, they make her feel completely alone, because no one else can see the world that she lives in.
And what's really amazing is what she does next. He doesn't show up, right? But does she give up on the story? Nope. On the way home, she replays the imagined meeting in her head. She makes it even better. For Sophie, the memory of something that never even happened becomes this treasure. Maybe it's even better than if he had actually shown up.
So when you put it all together, Going Places is just this incredible look at so many things. Yeah, it's about teenage daydreams and having heroes, but really it's about that universal fight between the life you want and the life you have, and how that whole struggle affects your mind and your relationships with everyone around you.
And that leaves us with the big question to chew on. Were Sophie's daydreams just a harmless escape, or were they a dangerous trap? I mean, they helped her cope with a pretty grim future, but they also led to so much sadness and isolation. It really makes you think about our own daydreams, doesn't it? When do they stop being a helpful escape and start holding us back from real life? Something to think about for sure.